Oh, not then. Sometime. I got it. Yeah. It's those. You know how Messenger works? It has like the little icon on the side.
Oh right.
Yeah. It's not like literally on screen. Now, I would be a little concerned if it literally was. Everyone would be like, "Who's that?" It's a low maintenance plant. Just water when the soil's dry is basically, and it's still kind of moist right now. So.
I like it. That's pretty.
Yeah, we'll just have it in the background. Plus, if it's still going, it also says when it dies to fertilize the soil, because then it will have like little pods or like the offspring of the plant, so you can it has more of them.
It's an annual bulbing thing, kind of like a tulip or something.
I believe so. It's a
It grows, makes little bulblets and dies, and
it's from California. This is a
it's like a bromelid, maybe.
yeah, it's a bromelade. Are drought tolerant and require minimal care. And related to the pineapple family, which I can see. I mean, this I see on pineapples a lot when they just kind of explode out like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think pineapple's bromelid.
Well, it said it's a part of the pineapple family, so bromelade is a part of the genus of pineapple. Whatever the broader genus of what the pineapple's a part of.
Flower, then they grow a big pineapple. Actually, I'm not sure if pineapples have flowers or not.
I don't think they're
I
flowers.
think the only way to reproduce them is from the pineapple.
Yeah.
And it generally falls off and then it'll grow. But if they chop the tops off, you get fresh pineapple. Lots of time the top has been chopped off. And they just drop
Just eat the straight loaf.
set the top on the ground and it'll
Like
grow
for
in the
real,
plant.
Yeah, I learned a little bit about pineapples. They can pretty much only grow in like very specific regions, mostly in just Hawaii.
They're real picky.
Oh yeah, but
They don't make seeds.
yeah, and they're like one of the few
But
species
you
of
can have
plant.
your seed taste like pineapple, even for girls too. They can taste like pineapple. And they
Well, we know where your mind's at, but
it's usually there though.
touche,
This is almost
But,
always in the gutter.
just touche.
You know me too well.
But
My mind's not in the gutter. It's washed down the storm drain and it's halfway to the river by now.
Mine's in the fucking sewer.
mine's out in the ocean. It went beyond. It went beyond.
Well, I mean,
it went
I-
down the river and
Yeah,
out
yeah,
the.
thanks.
It went down the river, out the delta, into the ocean.
I'd rather be in the ocean than be in the sewer, but I'm in the sewer.
Well, the ocean is
I
like.
know I was smelling something. Good. You're not bathing for the last month or two in the sewage too? That ain't good.
Yeah, I smell like sin.
Oh well.
Damn.
Whatever the girls like.
Damn, son. Tomato. Yeah, I realized that Streamlabs can upload images, so I have some tomatinos right here. Say hi to Robert. Hi, how are you today?
I'm making up a damn, but I can never.
Great, I am too.
Well, hey, nah, huh?
Did you speak in tongues?
What is this, Sims?
Trino, what's in the Cyrano, and Dumpka? Siana, my consent.
Okay, I'm coming.
The door's open.
Well, they evidently don't give a shit.
We gotta have an invitation to go.
It's Morgy do. I don't know.
I guess they need a written invitation. Okay, you can go ahead.
They're
I'm pretty sure that's what, like, English sounds like to non-English speakers.
probably. Most likely. Let me see what the... Whoa. I got, like, some weird, like, shit popping off right here. I got, like, some suave thing going on right there. Look at that. Got, like, a weird suave, like, pop on the top of my head.
Even though the door's open, she had to have an invitation to go outside.
Holy crap, that was really him.
Oh,
Yeah.
girl.
It was. It was indeed really him.
Who?
You?
Me?
Yes.
Not me.
Yeah, it was you. It was you. What's going on here? Like I feel like I got like some weird shit going on.
No,
It's my hair, like something going on in my head. Like it feels weird.
Yeah, there's all kind of spider webs and everything.
Oh my god.
Kill him!
I mean, it looks like it's got like a, like some suave waves going on, but it doesn't really look like it at the same time. It's honestly this right here. This is annoying me. It needs to like,
right
it needs to like join
behind
this.
you, it looks like you have a huge bald spot.
What? What?
Yeah, turn around and back. Let me see.
I don't have a
Oh
bald spot.
oh my god. Oh shit.
I don't
I'm
have-
Sorry.
I don't. Well, I guess it kind of does because I have the shaved part, so it just wants to hang down. I guess.
You might want to make the shaved part not quite as high on the back of your skull.
It's meant to be like up until the back here. Like it's supposed to go all the way up until it's like right around here. So then it just slicks back, and so when it's back, like.
Okay, well, if it's not doing that, I'm just saying from a style.
It was just
standpoint-
because I have my hair in a ponytail all day.
It looks bizarre though.
Yeah, it was
I
just.
guess it is
As
kind of a
style
fairly modern
standpoint,
style.
You might not want to shave so high up on your scalp.
I had some dog trimmers. Can we just shave all his hair off?
How about fucking no? Like no.
I don't support this.
I don't support this either. I just want this, and this is it. Like, I don't, like, it's not going any farther, it's just gonna stay this level. I'm just keeping this.
Remember to think about when you want to go to Montana. If you want to come with me and spend a bunch of time there and be bored.
That tastes so fucking good.
Well, when are you leaving?
Probably the weekend before.
So, like, the 20, the 12th?
Saturday before.
So, like, the 12th or the 13th?
Whenever, just...
I mean, like, I can find stuff to do while I'm there. I mean, it can't be that... It can't be that freaking boring out there.
I'm gonna try to hook up with Rodney, and I want a day to drive up to the Beartooth Plateau.
Well,
That's my backyard. I love that place.
yeah, because,
It's
like
like
low key, I
Iceland.
kind of want to, just so I
Yeah,
can, like,
with
do that.
Iceland, It's just like, this is like the Beartooth Plateau.
I mean, well, like, think about when you want to do that, because I want to at least show up
Doesn't notice.
in time for that,
it
especially.
depends on when you go.
I guess I'll have to entertain the chat.
Well,
So, you know,
So,
it-
let's think about something. What are you guys'
you know,
take
if
on
you're
the
gonna go like the day
Diogenes?
before, I'm gonna head up to the Beartooth Plateau on.
Like, do you agree with
sometime
the overall philosophy of Diogenes and the founding of cynicism?
Earlier.
I'm just trying to entertain the chat. I'm desperate to at this
it's
point.
okay. Hey, is it? Here, I'll just go over here and talk about this.
And I'm gonna have to drive Rodney out to the Squire,
Yeah.
my
So
old
chat is
hangout.
pretty dead.
They'll play some pool. They should sell pool tables there. They used to.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if they don't, there's
I'm trying to play pool.
Tomato.
I might as well just go with you then at this point, because it sounds like you got some of your trip already planned out. I mean, I'm
Seems
not
like he's
just
the only
tagging along
guy
with you.
here.
You should have the store
lots
though.
of moving and stuff. But yeah, I want as much time up there as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the Friday before.
Maybe I wanted to go up there, especially for the funeral anyway. So, I mean, like,
And Krista says she wants to go up there, but
I don't think that's
I
going to
don't
happen.
think that's happening.
No, that's not happening.
But
I already know that's
don't
not-
let her know that.
Well, I'm not going to, but if she's
Damn.
still saying that like a week prior, I'm just going to be like, Mom, no. Like, you still need to recover.
It was great. Today she actually sat up and
Yeah, when I was there the other day,
and ate her dinner, sitting up in bed. I'm just like, yeah.
I mean, the other day, when I was there, she was doing that same stuff, not eating, but trying to do that. So,
Good.
she's actually, she's making progress. Want to finish it?
Actually, she seems better than when she left.
Really? Well, because there's actual people that can actually, like, tend to her and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Honestly.
You know, as far as, you know, this group of clowns here at the house, it's just like, okay, we'll put you in bed, help you out.
Yeah, like,
I mean, whatever. We don't
it's not
have
the
knowledge.
It's not the greatest time to
professionalism
talk about
like
whatever, but
doctor and massage and
yeah,
whatever. And she's getting all that up there, so.
And funny enough, I actually saw one of my old high school acquaintances up there. She's a nurse at Providence up there.
Oh.
Yeah, she's training to be for a nurse's doctorate.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I'm not gonna throw her name out directly. Oh wait, I can mute this. Mute. But we're back.
Yeah, there's no doxing here.
Well, it wasn't really doxing. It's just personal info. You know, like certain things just aren't meant to be publicized. Like, there's more I wanted to talk about, whatever Dow was talking about back there, but I couldn't. There's certain things you just don't want to be too out about. I mean, you want to like. Usually, if I talk about personal stuff on streams, it's about me, because it's my comfortability about my own shit. And friends, if they happen to, be okay with it, about a certain topic, because usually they might talk about it, or, have it's just been mentioned prior or whatever. Like, I know at one point, with your ex-Bridget and shit, you would... Like, there was one time, I think, where it was me, Harley, Logan, and you, we're all doing the same thing here, and I think one of us in a drunken stupor just blurted her name out, and you were just like, dude! I'm just like...
Yeah, I was fucking pissed.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, it might have been me, I forgot who, but I was just like... But...
I think I remember it was Logan.
I forgot who specifically, but it might have been, but I don't want to, do the blame on it, because who cares at this point, that's a while ago, but now it's just like, well, it's been mentioned before. I mean, honestly, there's no way she will ever probably be on these streams. I mean, I don't see a scenario where that would happen. I don't even find a scenario for finding these streams, honestly, unless she, is watching you with, when you're watching me or something.
No, she's just not that tech savvy.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, and also, there's, how many people are named Bridget? We could be talking about multiple different people, too.
Yeah. Well,
we could just be having one name for every different person.
Her name is different from most girls named Bridget, but yeah, Bridget is pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, also, even her style of the way it's spelt is the second or third common way of doing it. So I mean, even then, it's not unique, but it's definitely not as common. But yeah, but what I was just about to say on that? But I forgot what I was literally just about to say prior to that. Whatever. But but usually, I remember. We could be technically saying Bridget just for multiple different people. I mean, I know I've used, like, I know there's been times you've mentioned Bridget, but not directly about her specifically on streams, just because they kind of fill a random name in, so... Could be talking about multiple people here, aren't we, huh? I wish my Tomatinos were actually the gifts that they are and would move, but unfortunately they're not. Sup? Hey, what it do, Carl? What it do? Oh, dude. Let me show you something. What with that? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna have to move around here.
I was just playing the Frankenstein song by Edgar Winter.
Here, but let me show you something with that.
Wait, what?
You're confused now. You're like, what?
Oh, okay, so you're doing some kind of effect or some kind of tone. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it has the kind of
Careful, though. You might drop that inside of the...
Oh, I already did that once. It's not that hard to get out.
Sounds kind of like a cello.
Yeah, it does a little bit. I want to get an actual bow because this is way too quiet.
I want to try this.
It's, you gotta like, here's how to do it. So you want to just, I mean, it's, you basically are just doing this, but it's just back and forth, but you don't want to do it too hard, like, cause but you have to like find the proper like pressure against the string and going back and forth to get like a loudest sound, and also the angle twos. It's a little difficult, and then plus it can cut your arm out a little bit, but it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of a cool little effect. When did Tyler start playing bass?
I'm not a bass.
He's not a bass
I'm
player.
guitarist.
He's a guitarist, and he's been like that since 11 or something like that. I mean, he was really like, he was already pretty good at guitar when I first met him in 7th grade. So, I mean, I don't know how long he's specifically, like 11, right? I feel like it's 11 years. I mean, it's just really quiet. That's just the thing. I think if an actual bow was on it, it would actually play a lot louder. I have more guitars than I have a right to own. I can't play at all. I'm trying to learn. I mean, I want to say I'm good at... I'll say I'm probably way more better at bass than guitar right now. But,
Okay, I'm like totally scraping off.
it's gonna do that. If anything, if anything, the wood makes a better sound, because that's what I've been doing in that with, is right on the wood and this bottom string is actually the hardest though, especially if you go like anywhere above like this fret, anything above that fret on. Like you're practicing, but I still suck. Do you look at any YouTube videos or anything like that? Or are you doing like I've tried? Damn, like I mean, the best, like, the only other thing I could say is, like, is maybe, like, a tutor, but, I mean, it's just repetition and persistence, essentially, and, and just being consistent. Like, that's the number one thing. That's kind of why I play the bass, like, every time I stream a little bit. But, yeah, and, like, because every time I do, I'm always doing some little experimentation or something different to try to expand a little more. He's having too much fun with this. It's too quiet.
That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Death metal.
Oh. Oh, hold on. I gotta send text real quick. Bit. Oops. Come on. Oh, well, I fucked up the last bit. Whatever. There we go. But practicing still sucks. Like, here's like here's like another way, like the best way I can think of is I mean, try not to push yourself for one, and like, and if you're, I mean, here I can actually show with like a random lick, because there's a, as soon as he's done here, as soon as he's done here. Find my pick wherever that went. Oh, here it is. Right on time. So, like, for example, like if you're here, I'll do it where you can see a little bit, just at least for a bass sake. But let's say you're trying to do like a hammer-on or something like that, like that, just something basic, you know? Like, and you can't really get it quite yet, like, it's more like, or something.
If you keep doing it, like, what a really good thing is, you know, if, like, say you got a mobile device, download a metronome. It's especially easy when you have an Android phone, and you got that Android software in there, and you can just go to the Play Store and get one for free. And then you can, like, pick a tempo, you know, like, start out kind of slow. Like, increase the BPM, you know, just incrementally. Like, once you get, like, you know, really good at playing at a certain tempo. And then you do it a little bit faster, so then that way you're not, like, you know, too far out of your comfort zone. But then you'll get, like, incrementally faster at playing a certain thing, and then it makes you more fluent. Like, it really gets the muscle memory. A lot more. It takes a lot of willpower, but it pays off.
So I flucked up a little, didn't I? So that's where you want to try to learn that a little bit, because I tried to add on to something there.
Yeah, you don't want to practice your mistakes.
That's where as soon as you start fucking up, stop, like, repeat that, you know, like, go back and try to repeat what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I want to eat a heel. Yeah, I like the bread heel the most. I don't want to rip the
Oh, but I
bag.
still fucked up, so I'm going to try it again. Now I got it. It's just about the persistence, essentially. Like, you know, learn a basic little line like that. I mean, first you want to learn some basic techniques so you can do the line, like, you know, a basic hammer on. And then, you know, from there, you know, just learn what sounds good with that. I mean, I could do the... I mean, I could do that and go here, but I went here instead. So you could do that, but you could also do something a little different with the line and go like... But you could do like... You know, you could just do kind of a little bit of anything to kind of experiment with your initial line, but... You know, once you got like something down, just make sure you...
Tyler, there's a beverage in the freezer right there. You gotta give it to me.
Yeah, but yeah, as soon as like you got like a basic line, just make sure you got
tea.
Make sure you just like
Very bottom.
it's at the bottom.
Very bottom.
Oh, right there in the corner. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, like I mean, as soon as you got like a basic line to like practice with, just keep practicing with that line, and then you know now that we kind of got like a little basic line or whatever, then let's like learn you know like a little like a bridge to it, like. Something like that too. So pretty much like you know, with, you could do bridges are generally anything, but it could be anything. What I meant to say is, but you know, they could because it could either be like you know, even a different chord entirely, so it doesn't even necessarily have to sound exactly like the initial chord that you had it in, or the chord or the key, I should say. So like I could do like. I could do something like that, you know, yeah, but because I did something off. Yo, MC Doc, what up? Hey, what to do, Stefan? What to do? I'm teaching.
Bro,
I'm kind of teaching Carl just some basics about just string instruments in general because he's more of a guitar. I'm doing a bass, but I'm just kind of trying to like kind of explain how to get just a little better on your own terms. Just with, you know, just kind of any instrument, but, you know, I'm just using the applicability on a bass, but it's a little easier. I'm just starting to learn to play. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you're just starting to learn, you know, and you haven't played before, then you're definitely, you know, don't expect to be, like, really good at first, you know. It's, like, when I first started playing, I knew, like, 2 basic chords. That was it. And everything else was mainly power chords. So it'll be, like... Just simple dumb shit like that, you know? But over time, you can obviously, you know, be like, hey, you know, just be like, you know, now I can do some, you know, I could do some kind of crazy lines and shit. Yeah, now I'm, you know, able to do some, like, crazy little lines and shit, so... You know, it just, like, it takes time. You know, that's the number one thing. Especially if you haven't, like, actually, like, sat down to learn, even though you've just been kind of playing for a little bit or whatever, just kind of fuck with. I mean, it takes time. That's the major key of it. It's just, like, it's mostly, like, the patience.
Boy, are you sure that one isn't?
It's the, oh, yeah, that is yours. Yeah, that was. But, yeah, I mean, essentially, when it comes to patience, persistence, and repetition. I mean, those are the 3, I would say, are the 3, why do I keep saying thrang? 3 main things to learning and practicing you know, an instrument. Because you want to have the repetition in order to, you know, learn that same type of, you know, to learn that structure of, you know, the fundamental how to play that specific instrument. And then from there... have the patience to get up, you know, to the level to be able to execute those type of things, and have the persistence to continue to do all 3, essentially. You just noticed Metal T lurking in the background, Stefan? Really? Yeah, he's just chilling back here, yeah.
Come on, Greg.
He's all Greg, eating up my bread. All my bread. I have to find a t-shirt. Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? I mean... So I mean, in a way, I just like did some teacher knowledge shit on you. So I
I
mean,
didn't have a teacher when it came to guitar. I had to teach myself.
I did
My
for like a
dad taught me
month.
like a few riffs, and only like the basic open chords, and then I just kind of went on my own with it.
Yeah, with me, I had a teacher for like a month, and then that kind of stopped, and then I started playing trumpet, and then I went back into guitar around junior year, and then off and on I kind of played around with that. And, I mean, the most, like, learning with guitar, mainly, it's just been kind of, like, random little YouTube videos, you know, random little tips from friends like you and shit, you know, so. You know, like, I just kind of, like, absorb from anywhere and everywhere type of thing, which is, you know, I think is what makes, you know, I mean, at least not, like, directly, but, you know, that's what, you know, at least is one of the factors I would think is making a good musician, is the ability to, like, absorb different, like, theories of music and structures of music, and just absorb, you know, and just like take different structures, different fundamentals, different styles, and different like chords and rhythms and beat progressions, chords, you know, everything. So I mean, like I had a band director through high school, all 4 years, and he was legitimately like my biggest inspiration, like. Yeah, and he's what taught me about the persistence, repetition, and the patience I had in myself. But he always emphasized persistence and repetition, and not repetition as like repeat. You know, it's a negative way, like you're some drone. But like repetition of just the basic fundamentals of the music theory in itself. You know, because I mean, over time, you know, if you look at music, it's repetitive. Like, I mean, you know, it kind of, in some way...
Repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes.
I mean, kind of a little bit.
Repetition legitimizes.
But, I mean, because even in classic pieces, you'll hear, like, you know, a violinist go on, you know, a line, but you'll always hear some similar repetition in every little line. There might be some alterations... And then you'll always hear something specific that kind of comes in, you know, at the end or at the beginning or in both. So, you know, there's a lot of different forms. There's a lot of different ways to essentially like have repetition in music. They'll come and say, "What to do?"
Repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes. Just turned a statement into a melody.
But I think it kind of proves the point, though.
Yeah, I did. It does, though.
I mean, especially if you listen to jazz. Where do you hear repetition in jazz? You would think there's probably not, right? Well, there very much is. It's in the bass. The bass is the
The bass line and the percussion.
The reason why I don't say percussion initially is because there are drummers in jazz bands that are just fucking insane, and they do their own thing, straight up.
Incredible.
Yeah, they will straight up do their own thing. They will have like their main rhythm to keep on beat with everybody. Right. But even on that, they're adding their own shit. They're doing all sorts of different stuff. Like there's, you know, they're like, because they're so talented, and they're able to keep on their own beat because of the ability of the repetition of the beat, just to flow everywhere. Mm-hmm. But with bassists, most of them just have that one line they do throughout most of the song with the chords, and they always do those same lines throughout most of the time. Every now and then they'll kind of open up to a solo or maybe a little extra shit.
Everybody else is playing some kind of rhythm line. But yeah, like when it comes to guitarists, you know, trumpeters, as well as like, you know, sax players and like pianists maybe. It's always, you know, it's always, you know, like, oh, okay, you improvise for a little bit, and then you play the main melody again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you see that, like, a lot just with any, like, pretty much most forms of, like, type of music. Like, even in, like, more free-formed classical pieces, you hear that a lot, where they kind of go back and forth. I mean, it's all kind of choreographed beforehand, but you still hear that because the composer's creating that, essentially. It's like, I want this to be in conversation amongst pieces, and, you know, and have have it like build up into something.
This is how you know I'm a guitarist, because I try to bend like I would a guitar.
I do the same thing with a bass anyway. And also, you play it like a guitar.
Exactly.
Jesus, what the? Where did you even like? What did you even do there? I didn't even see what like. See, I can't do that shit. At least not yet. I can't go like down, you know.
Oh, believe me, like there are guitarists who have years of experience above me. It's usually because they're older than me.
Well, yeah, they're way older than you.
But even then, there are child prodigies out there. They're rare, but they're out there.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, and
To be honest, I'm kind of lazy though. I don't like practice my scales enough. I'm like, I write songs more.
yeah, like for me,
I really should though, because like it would really help. And
I mean, I just don't got like
it
a.
really helped me improvise.
I just don't got like the best way to record my music. That's pretty much the only thing that like as I could technically put that mic against a amp, but that's not the best way to do that. So so I'm just like, I mean, I'm gonna.
Oh, there's not really much left in here. I'll just kill it.
Yeah. So I'll figure. I'm sure there's I know there's an interface I can get to hook instruments up into like my computer and record music with. So I'll just or at least like I guess more so hook the amp into it so I can so the amp's amplification goes into the computer to process into a something to record with.
You said it. You said it.
Huh?
You know what that means?
What did I say?
Let's see if I hope I get this right. It's out of tune.
What did I do? What did I say? What did I say?
You don't remember the melody?
The melody of what?
Don't you remember?
Thanks.
Hydrolydian.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, you have to be out of beat, so.
Not always true. I mean, Amplification was one of the songs I really liked, though.
Yeah, I kind of like that song. Comrade Burritos, thank you. Thank you for being the loyalist to the burrito.
I'm kind of...
But those are basically burritos.
Yeah. With good pride.
So chimichangas, the main difference between a burrito and chimichanga is that the chimichanga's fried.
Technically, they're like, fried
So our
oil.
burritos that we sell at our deli are technically chimichangas. Because we fry them.
Yeah, you do like the deep fat fried in oil.
Deep fat fried. Dun 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 dun. Deep fat fried.
Straight burrito. Or you can get it too, but the outside tortilla is crunchy rather than soft.
Yeah. Honestly, I do prefer that a little bit myself, but I mean, honestly, to me, they're no different.
It's like the same thing.
They are really. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I don't see them as different.
No, Monterey.
Because yeah, like I mean, the thing is, like I mean, I just see chimichanga as just another version of a burrito. It's what I see it as. It's like a subset of burrito. Kind of like breakfast burritos is a subset of burrito, because, I mean, it's even in the name. Like, I mean, I even consider wraps a burrito, to some extent.
Like different names for a sandwich.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, with turkey sandwich, corned beef
Maybe slap a
sandwich,
guitar or two while I'm at it.
sandwich, yeah, chicken sandwich.
Hell yeah, dude.
Whatever, it's still a sandwich, but
Yeah.
like burrito, but
I can't remember that last part though.
although I guess with burrito we changed the name of the whole food rather than just saying like
Yeah.
fried burrito, this burrito, or that burrito. Instead, they have different names for it. Like ordering a pizza, I want this and this and this and this and this. Wrap it up.
Oh, really?
I'd like to just Michelle. Something like that.
I don't know.
Pretty much the same
Hydrogen
deal,
would turn into
different
death
name
metal.
for each.
So, what? Because, there was, like, bass metal being played in the background. So you're just like, I'm not repeating, like...
I was just talking about burritos.
I mean, pretty much, I guess, you know, no different what's going on.
They
Mr.
have
Loud as
different
fuck over here.
names, you know, like, turkey sandwich is still a sandwich. You know, chicken sandwich, corned beef sandwich, still a sandwich. A burrito, you make it a little bit a different way, and it goes from burrito to chimichanga.
And then there's, like...
taco.
And then there's, like, a wrap. I mean, like, because at our, like, we have wraps, but they're basically burritos, but they don't have, like, traditional ingredients of what a burrito would have. Like, it will be, like, tenders or, like...
Yeah, the burrito means you have the Mexican flavor to
Even
it.
then...
The wrap is more of like an Italian flavor to it.
I mean, here to me, like a wrap has, like, here's like the main difference between like an actual wrap to like a burrito, essentially, is that a burrito is on a tortilla, for one. That's the number one thing. I think will have to be the one, the key is like, usually it's off like a big tortilla. And then, traditionally, usually has like some Hispanic or Mexican, flavor to it, but not always. Breakfast burritos don't always have that because they have a breakfast flavor to it. So I mean, it doesn't always have to.
Yeah, I'm in a hurry, put all my breakfast food, let's say like eggs, sausage,
Bacon,
bacon,
all that, yeah. Potatoes.
wrap it up in a tortilla, give it to me so I can eat
Yeah,
it
and then
while I
there's-
drive to work on my lunch hour.
Yeah, and then there is
Either that or parked on the freeway.
So-
like we usually have.
yeah. So then there's the wraps that we have at the sandwich that we can make, but they're burritos because they have all that. But you can do pretty much whatever you want for the wraps themselves, essentially. So here's to me what like an actual wrap would be, because we have things that are called wraps out and on display, and they are not like the wraps that we make. Not at all. They are totally different. They are like way smaller. They're usually like this long, and usually either one side is folded in or both sides are. But usually they're very long and come in a different type of bread instead of like tortilla.
Yeah, when I make tacos, which is basically a burrito,
They're burritos.
I like to make them like a funnel. Put
Yeah.
all the good stuff at the narrow end.
I just make them into
So
burritos.
you have like this big funnel full of food. You know?
Oh yeah. Burritos not American.
Who invented the pizza?
I mean that is also somewhat irrelevant because
Where does pizza come from?
it's not technically Italy because they actually made them into like calzones.
What happened was the Italian immigrants, they came and they adapted the pizza and turned it into a pie. And they turned it into a fried pie, so that's actually where our American traditional pizza comes from.
Yeah.
It's very different from what it is in
Where does the
Italy.
pizza come from? Who's the first people to make pizza?
I don't know,
Some
like
Italian immigrants who decided to start a
No.
business.
I don't know like specifics on that.
China. What?
Okay, elaborate. Elaborate this. Fact
A
check.
bad Donald Trump
China.
impersonation. China.
China.
But no, the Chinese made pizza.
What?
And
You
through the
yell
Spice
cats in
Road,
there?
it came to Italy, and the Italians loved it.
Trump does
Well,
like
so-
consuming dicks.
well,
Nice.
So elaborate, like, so where do, like, they make the, like, cause I've never, cause I've never heard of, like, China making
China.
pizzas. Like,
It's not any of their traditional food, but that's some Chinese guy made a pizza, and you're just like, hey, this is good.
I want to fact check this real quick. Do you have, like, you want, look up, like, when the,
Trying to make me whore my
Are you on the
phone.
or that, yeah, it's because I just want to, like, I honestly, like, want to, like, figure this out. Because, yeah, like, cause, cause I think to some extent even, like, how,
Piece of bread with toppings on it and cheese. came
Yeah.
from China.
Google, okay? Let's figure this out. We're figuring this out, y'all.
Who made the first pizza? Where did pizza come from?
I'm pretty sure it came from Italy.
Through the spice trade, it came from China, and the Italians adopted it. The Chinese didn't really like pizza.
What's wrong with them?
They liked their pot.
Okay, so here, I found something that says something different. The pizza we're all familiar with, the kind with tomato sauce, cheese, and toppings, did originate in Italy, specifically baker Raffaele Esposito from Naples, which is often whoops. Well, I just clicked the article, so I'll see what else it says. Where was that? Okay, here we go.
Traditional tomato sauce, that didn't happen until...
Baker Raphael Esposito from Naples is often given credit for creating first such pizza pie. Historians know, however, that flatbreads with a variety of toppings have been sold by street vendors and eaten by the poor workers in Naples for many years. Legend has it that Esposito was called upon to make a pizza for Italian King Umbrido I and Queen Margherita when they visited Naples in 1889. That pizza, which featured fresh tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, and basil, still known as Pizza Margherita today. Pizza made its way into Spain, France, England, and the United States via Italian immigrants who didn't gain popularity until after World War II.
Uh-huh.
Though, when returning, soldiers sought out the food, they had grown to love it while fighting overseas. The first U.S. Pizzeria G. Lombardi's was opened in 1905 by Gennaro Lombardi at 53rd 3rd Spring Street in New York City. Okay, that's a weird street name. It is still open today using its original oven, although it has changed location. Oh, well, that's cool. Let's see what else is there.
100-year-old oven? Damn. Over 100 years old.
Try Google China pizza.
Madrecita.
Origins. Let's see here. Foods similar to pizza have been made since the Neolithic age. Records of people adding other ingredients to bread. So, I mean, the idea of what, like, a pizza isn't new, but, like, what we know of as a pizza is relatively
Back in the
new.
Neolithic age, damn.
In Sardinia, French and Italian archaeologists have found bread baked over 7,000 years ago, according to Professor Filippo Maneval, the local islanders leaving this bread. In the 6th century BC, the soldiers in the armies of ancient Persian King Darius I baked flatbreads of cheese and dates on top of their battle shields. Cool. The ancient
That's
Greek...
a weird combination, cheese and dates.
The ancient Greek... Well, you eat what you got. I mean, the ancient Greeks made a flatbread called pakos, which was flavored with toppings like herbs, onion, cheese, and garlic. That sounds good.
Is that like the precursor to pita bread, then?
Probably. An early reference to pizza-like food occurs in Need when Kalino, queen of harpies, foretells the Trojans will not find peace until they are forced to hunger to eat their tables. Book 3. In Book 7, Aeneas and his men are served a meal that includes round cakes like pita bread topped with cooked vegetables. When they eat the bread, they realize that these are the tables prophesied by Kalino.
Yo.
Oh
yeah. That's the Aeneid that Virgil wrote. He was a Roman poet. He basically pretty much took most of the ideas from the Odyssey, though, to be frank. But Virgil was, featured in Dante's fan fiction. Well, you know it better as Dante's Inferno, though.
Yeah.
Where he basically just kind of did. It's the only successful self-insert fan fiction.
Oh, so, well, I looked up, I went back and just did Chinese pizza, and it came up something different. It says Kong Yu Bing. Traditional Chinese, literally scallion oil pancake. Also known as a scallion pancake, is a Chinese savory unleavened flatbread folded with oil and minced scallions, or green onions. Unlike Western pancakes, it is made from dough instead of batter. This is pan-fried, which gives crispy edges, yet also a chewy texture. Variations exist in the basic method of preparation that incorporate other flavors and fillings. Fuck, I'm getting hungry, dude. So here's Chinese legend surrounding the invention of pizza. So there is a whole separate. So
Got the munchies, man.
Well, I mean, look at those. Look at the scallion pancake, bro. Tell me that's not good. I mean, come on, that does not look dank, bro. You would not want that. You would not want some Kong Yu Bing, dude. So, here's what it says on the legend of it. There's a story in China that suggests pizza is an adaptation of the scallion pancake brought back to Italy by Marco Polo. A humorous newspaper article that also includes Marco Polo inventing cheese fondue when he's lost in the Alps and wants to eat Chinese hot pot describes the invention of pizza in this way. Marco Polo missed scallion pancakes so much that when he was back in Italy, he tried to find chefs willing to make a pancake for him. One day, he managed to meet a chef from Naples at a friend's dinner party and persuaded him to try recreating the dish. After half a day without success, Marco Polo suggested filling be put on top rather than inside the dough. The change, by chance, created a dish praised everyone at the party. The chefs returned to Naples, improvising by adding cheese and other ingredients and forming today's pizza. So it's a little, so the idea of China literally inventing pizza is a little bit of a misconception, but it's mostly
grain of truth.
There's a grain of truth. There actually is a grain of truth to it.
No pun intended. I know there's wheat.
But for like an actual traditional pizza that we are aware of, that we know of today, it's from Naples, Italy, but it also says when Marco Polo returned, it was from chefs from Naples. So it seems like it was a cultural phenomenon that took place in Naples and thus grew what we know as pizza. So there is a little bit of a grain of truth, but it was inspired by a Chinese flat dish that somewhat similar called a Kong Yu Bing or a scallion pancake, which honestly looks pretty good. To be fair, like I actually kind of want one.
Well, especially that looks.
That does look pretty good. Here, check it out, guys. Like, come on, that does not look good.
Let me check this out.
You mean, how does that not look good?
Oh my
It's
god.
like onions and.
I mean, come on, that looks pretty good.
How does that not
it's
look good?
I mean,
as good as I can see, which isn't very, but
I mean, here's like a uncut scallion cake, just a regular one. That just, I mean, you can see why I'm a little hungry. It's not just because I'm a little stoned, bro. It's because that actually looks pretty good, and there's someone who's opened it up and ripped it apart a little bit. But low key though, that is some deliciousness right there. I can just tell that is some deliciousness. But so it's not not like exactly accurate, but there is a hint of truth to it. So it's still really cool. Why am I giving you this back?
you gotta give it to the Chinese. One of these days they're gonna rule the world.
Well, it should be a cooperative world ruling. Humans rule the world.
They're like the Borg. They're gonna take over everything.
Why can't all of humanity in itself be Borg and just like everybody is just like we will rule this world? Just be like everybody.
Well, it's still my own identity. I don't want to be uploaded into a fascist hive mind.
At least that's what the Borg are, but
A totality.
not that. Not. I don't mean that.
Oh.
I hope like I'm humanist. Like I want like peace. I want like awesomeness. I want like epicness to happen. Coexistence and,
people that have their
and
own
cooperatives and cooperation. Yes. I want that Borg. I want the good Borg.
There's
like-
no such thing as a good Borg.
Yes, there is. look at the desimulated Borgs. Like I kind of want like I see like the desimulated Borgs as like the actual good Borgs. Like you know what? Because they aren't a part of like this. Like it's weird because they're not a part of a collective, which isn't necessarily the good part of it necessarily. I don't necessarily see it as a negative, but it's the fact that they're not part of a collective that literally is like out to like absorb literally everything. Like I mean, instead of literally just like domination by like sheer force and assimilation, it's like cooperation. You know, kind of like Federation style type of thing.
Right.
If we're going to use Star Trek philosophy in this a little bit, but yeah, like you know, like that's what like I like those Borgs because it's like especially with like 7 and 9 for example, like cause she's a very intricate character once she's like desimulated and grows very exponentially, but also has so many positives and attributes and traits that are very beneficial to the crew of Voyager that you know they would basically be fucked without her. So I mean. You know, like there is some legit, like there is some legitimacy to the Borg. I am willing to at least defend that part.
Unless
The Borg in itself, like the actual Hyde collective, no, but like a
the
Borg,
assimilated Borgs, though.
yeah. I mean, if like or like a semi-autonomous hive mind, like a small branch that you know doesn't seek to do you know what the actual Borg you know from the show does. Because I think that was actually entertained a little bit. I remember in Voyager there was this one episode, like a 7 and 9 episode, where it was like delving into her memories, and she was part of like this small collective that branched off from the greater hive mind, and they were trying to escape basically, and she was still persistent on you know being a part of the collective, but it was a really interesting episode because that opened the idea of there's probably other Borg that like broke through the collective and you know it started their own thing. You know they tried to make something that is better. You know with what they are essentially, and actually kind of look at the positive attributes. Maybe not every you know little mini faction,
There's
but
definitely a symbolic aspect with the Borg.
oh, very like every race
Like
and every faction.
imperialism, or you could also say like it's
Maybe like I mean
organized religion,
I
imperialism for sure.
I don't even. I mean, I kind of see the. I kind of see a little bit more of the imperialism kind of in the Romulan Empire more.
Wow.
I mean, I kind of because they're a lot more like they aren't like imperialistic, like in a sense like they will outright like dominate shit, but in a way of like political intrigue and covert action and just being very malicious and salacious and undermining their opponents essentially to do their domination. So like I see like a different form of imperialism in Star Trek, and I kind of see it more in the kind of Klingon and the Romulan Star Empire, but not so much the Klingons because I kind of see them more of like this spiritual like chancellorship that's like kind of a feudal ship as well.
It's like they kind of look like what you would
the most stuff. I mean, the most
like the
most comparisons
Scandinavians
into the Japanese cultures like samurai.
that's
the closest comparison I hear from them.
Persian.
The closest comparisons I hear are samurai and Vikings like had a baby. Like I mean, I see that. I mean, look at the art. I mean, look at their art. Look at the. I mean, like I don't. I mean, their skin's kind of irrelevant. I feel like, for that, but. I mean, look at their honor system, though. Like, Japan is insane about...
Oh, yeah.
They're
Sure.
serious about, like, very strict about an honor system, and the Klingons are just the same. and like the way they go to battle sounds like both cultures militaristically. Like, because Vikings like will straight up like sought to go to two. They were like, I'm either going to Valhalla or I forgot Freya's Hall, but right off the top of my head, but it's like I have a chance to go to one of these halls and be with the gods, so I'm gonna fucking die this day and it will be honorable. Just kill anyone who stands in my way. Japan was the same way, and
Cue Man of War in the background.
basically, dude. Yeah, but then like with the samurai, like if they lost battles, they would like see that's very dishonorable, and they would either have to like gain their honor by like doing some shit, or their friends will have to do something for them if they die dishonorably or whatever.
See, like, there's a reason why they cut their stomach open, because
With
it was
seppuku.
an honorable death.
Yeah,
It was an honorable suicide, because
and if
that
there was
means
somebody
that they were
with you,
willing
they
to
would.
endure it.
Yeah, and also there is
If
there's
in
somebody.
a cowardly, quick way, then it was seen
Well,
as dishonorable.
Well, if your enemy,
You're not allowed to show pain. when
well,
you did
if
it.
your enemies caught you, they will behead you while you did it. So it would be they will like let you do your shit, and then they'll just behead you right after. I mean that's still seen as honorable. It's quick after that because it's like, well, you do show your honor, just quick swipe and you're done. I mean, which is like, and you see that with the, I mean, the thing is,
admire your honor.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but the thing is, there's something to kind of revere about the Japanese, so if we want to kind of tangent off them specifically, like, they're, like, if you look in history and see, like, militaristically how they were disciplined and just, like, fucking fierce. Like, I mean, I can't imagine how Marines felt in the Pacific. Oh my god. Like, like, last man fighting in these fucking islands and shit. But, like, but you see a lot of the same shit, though, with the Klingons, too, though. I mean, because if they have a dishonorable defeat, then they're probably gonna rather off themselves or go find another battle and die honorably that way. I mean, they're, like, that's why, and that's why I feel like there's a lot more comparisons with, like, Japan and the Vikings, a lot more of the Klingons. Like, I mean, I guess I kind of see, like, a little bit of the Persians and Romulus a little more. Kind of a blend of
Roman and Persian. I mean, they're called the Romulans.
I mean, their two planets are named after the people who found Rome. So I mean, they're pretty much
Romulus
they're
and Remus.
yeah. So they're blatantly saying that's like the Roman Empire. It goes without saying. But I feel like they have other tiny little influences as well. But I mean, they're number one and main one that they're trying to, like, especially in the lore and the canon that they're trying to expose. Just like we're Rome. So.
The Ferengis are definitely Dutch and Jews.
And every
They look more like
anarcho-capitalist. And pretty much every anarcho-capitalist that existed.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much Ayn Rand in a nutshell is the Ferengi. But actually, like, with Quark, though, being a Ferengi, he's actually quite a character. There's actually kind of some interesting things that... Because he was talking... he made this really good point. Here, I'll pull it up. He made this good point about war, actually. And this Vulcan, because he was talking to a Vulcan on her logic. Oh. Quark, I actually was like, oh shit. Like, because you honestly don't defy Vulcan logic. Like, they're logical. But he defied it. And she was like, you didn't dare defy my logic. Are you saying I'm illogical? Like, she kind of had a little bit of like that, for a Vulcan, her anger came out. Like, that's funny. Like, I mean, as a Vulcan, they utterly suppress their emotions to, like, every degree they possibly can. They don't have emotion, they just
stay rational.
Yeah, they don't not have emotion, they just suppress it.
They just suppress. That's pretty unhealthy, though.
Well, for Vulcans, though, they like their outlets essentially kind of like the way Japan has their cultural spirituality with Shintoism. It's not like necessarily an actual like religious belief system that they got at this point anymore. It's just like something they kind of go to kind of relieve their stresses and let their emotions out a bit. Because I mean, you can even see in like some of the new, in some like the new Star Trek movies with Spock as a kid, you saw Vulcan kids bullying and using their emotions on Spock and shit, and Spock showed emotion by beating the shit out of one of them. So I mean,
Damn.
like Vulcans are very well capable of emotion, It's just that it's just
discouraged in their culture.
yeah, it's heavily discouraged. I mean, so they which is really weird because like. Because basically, like, the way I see Vulcans is, like, they're pretty much, like, a philosophy and culture of, like, autists.
Well, not only that, but it's, there's actually a very specific
And I don't even
philosophy.
mean...
You know who Seneca was? He was
Yeah.
a Roman philosopher. It's Stoicism.
Yeah.
Because most of them are literally Stoic.
Quark solves the problem of war with economics. This actually legitimate...
I am a Vulcan. My emotional state is irrelevant. Well, I'm a Ferengi, and my emotional state is very relevant. And right now, I'm miserable. It's all your fault. You were well paid for your assistance. Not well enough. Look.
Not well enough.
Cardassians can't be trusted. I know the Central Command would like nothing better than to destroy the Federation colonies in the demilitarized zone. Then you agree with our position? Not for a second. Why not? Because your position is illogical.
Illogical.
Do you propose to lecture me on logic? I don't want to.
She
but
got a
you have
little
no
tick
choice.
there. She's like, you dare want to question me on lecture me on logic?
It all comes down to the third rule of acquisition.
Third rule of acquisition.
You don't know that one, do you? I am not well versed in Ferengi philosophy. Remind me to give you a copy of the rules. You never know when they'll come in handy. Now, the third rule clearly states, never spend more for an acquisition than you have to.
Never spend more for an acquisition than you have to. That's the third rule of acquisition.
Logical, but I fail to see how that applies to my situation. You want to acquire peace.
Peace, right?
Peace is good, but how much are you willing to pay for it? Whatever it costs.
That's the problem.
That's kind of irresponsible.
See what the problem is? Whatever it costs. That's not good. So by that premise, this is where the illogicalness comes in.
The lack of logic, I guess.
Yeah, the lack thereof of logic, essentially, is, like, at what cost? That means you're willing to sacrifice anything and everything for peace. So you're willing to... So, by that logic, we're...
Dead, that's peaceful, but, like...
we could essentially, like, have a scorched planet, and we'll never have this problem again, and there will definitely be peace for quite some time. But is that a good cost?
Spending that causes so many business ventures to fail. You're forgetting the third rule. Right now, peace could be bought at a bargain price, and you don't even realize it. I find this very confusing. Then I'll make it so simple that even a Vulcan can understand. The Central Command has been caught red-handed smuggling weapons to their settlers. So, every ship that approaches the demilitarized zone will be searched. Without the support of the Central Command, the Cardassian settlers won't be so eager to fight. You forget the weapons they already have. They have weapons, you have weapons, everyone has weapons.
Everyone's doing fucking arms deals. Everyone's got guns. Everyone's got weapons. Everyone's got shit to defend themselves with. So, you're missing the point. Even for a Vulcan, they still have some sense of it, lack of logic or, lack of rationale to some extent because...
Too involved in the war.
Well, at least for this specific context, yes. But it kind of shows that even Vulcans got a little bit of a weakness. Which also I think to some extent, kind of shows the human in them. But, I think that just shows they're
all a species or a race of human.
Well, they're all created.
All flawed.
Like every species is flawed, but everything has their flaws. I'm sure there's a fucking flaw in this can somewhere. So
Oh yeah, it's probably not like the diameter is never
I can make
fully
one.
consistent.
I just made a flaw.
Well, even then, even if there aren't any flaws in this, the diameter is never fully consistent. I know this. Like if you took, if you took this thing off, took a pair of calipers, if you didn't bend it too badly,
Yeah,
that might change, ever so
No one has
slightly
a
in the
clear
diameter.
advantage. So the price of peace is at an all-time low. This is the perfect time to sit down and hammer out an agreement. Don't you get it? Attacking the Cardassians now will only escalate the conflict and make peace more expensive in the long run. Now, I ask you, is that logical?
Is that logical? Is it logical to essentially,
Oh.
to basically, with everyone having weapons and shit, to go out and attack, a force that, is going to attack settlers who already have weapons, right?
I got that Supertramp song in my head now.
Yeah, so it's highly illogical to attack the Cardassians because then they're going to be attacking you. Not only the settlers, but you too. And now it's far more expendable for peace. Even Ferengi philosophy is really kind of intriguing because he threw a total curveball at me on the philosophy of what the Ferengi are, and turned it over on the Vulcan's head, and it was fucking perfect. I love it. That's probably my favorite little snippet out of DS9 so far when it comes to Quark. I think this is my favorite.
Spend more than you have to.
This is
acquisition. Damn.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite Quark scene, honestly. Him just Quark's right-wing triad. What? Okay. I'll have to listen to that one later. Oh my goodness. But, no. You know what? Fuck it. Let's listen to that now.
Yeah, the Ferengis are basically the Dutch and the Jews combined.
SAC Institute Progressive
Not for
Income
that.
Tax 3
All right.
months ago.
Deuce.
Call that reform? Taxes go against the very spirit of free enterprise. That's why they call it free.
Oh,
Yeah, he's definitely a super libertarian.
he literally... Okay, I already know what it's about. It's about taxes.
Government needed revenues to fund the new social programs. Wage subsidies for the poor, retirement benefits for the aged, health care for... Stop.
Gee. So dangerous. Or
I
bad.
had no idea things had gotten so bad.
Things so bad. Subsidies for poor and the elderly and retired, and oh my god, healthcare for everybody.
It's
Are
all Boogie's
against
fault.
I'll be back.
Polluted mind with notions of equality and compassion. Whatever happened to survival of the fittest? Whatever happened to the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor? What happened?
No!
Whatever happened to pure, unadulterated greed? Well, things change, and they're going to change back. The first thing I'm going to do is eliminate these so-called reforms before Ferenginar ends up looking like a Federation planet. Ooh, I'm not sure the Congress of Economic Advisors will approve. I don't care who they are or what they are. As Nagus, I can do what I want. Not anymore. All regulations proposed by the Nagus have to be ratified by the Congress before they become law. Well, you'll still be a powerful man. I wouldn't be sucking up to you otherwise. Blessed Exchequer, forgive us. Your children have gone astray.
What the fuck? Weird. That's just... That really just kind of shows that weird philosophy of Ferenginar and just Ferengi in general. They're quite a weird species and a weird ideas. Though, there's one thing I definitely get Quark, and actually I saw a comment in here earlier. It was he's making the argument that he is an actual patriot, which I don't know. But he made the argument saying basically no matter what, throughout the whole series, he always follows the rules of acquisition and always is, loyal to Ferengar, I think is what they were basically saying. And it's just yeah, I mean, I guess, sure. He's just he's basically worried about his own demise, which is kind of funny, that pretty much what he was listing is demise. and he's just like, yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Have you ever tried the Sufi meditation technique? I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's when I do like this and like, oh, that's what Quark and they were doing when they're praying to like the continuum. They're like, oh, the great continuum, the great continuum. Your children run astray, great continuum. Meditation while moving. So like you're just moving, but meditating? I mean, it sounds confusing, but I think I get it. Whirling dervishes, that's an example. Huh. Okay, so you just have, like, certain activities you're doing while you're meditating. Alright, right on. It's pretty interesting. I haven't tried it, though, so... Me's confused about all that. But curious.
You're clearly disagreeing with the Ferengi.
Well, yeah. I mean, because he was pretty much they were...
Social contract, bad.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest. Individualism.
Up by your bootstraps.
Unless it's literally giving me money.
Yeah.
Like, they can trust the government enough fuck up giving them money. That's the funny thing.
See, like, I find that there's some hypocrisy with right-wingers that suddenly, like...
Gee!
They don't
I never
support,
knew!
They don't support universal basic health care, or, you know, they don't support...
welfare
universal
programs
education.
overall, like a welfare state, essentially.
Yeah, but as soon as they hear universal basic income, they're like, oh, free money? Free money?
Free money? Money.
Free money. Like, hypocrisy much? Like, it's totally fucking hypocritical. And then they call somebody like me, who wants, you know, universal healthcare and universal, you know, not universal basic income. I don't actually support it, because philosophically it just doesn't sit well with me. But they're kind of a hypocrite for supporting that when they don't like, you know, universal healthcare or, you know, universal education. You know, you need some kind of social contract, especially for police.
I mean,
for, you know, infrastructure,
I think
especially for roads.
That's always been a thing. That's why, like,
Yeah.
it's just like.
But we also need that for, you know, healthcare and education as well.
Like, even anarchists kind of get that you sort of need a little bit of a social contract, because at least with them, it's like the whole society builds up.
That's the main incentive for people to live there.
And, you know, all work to get, it's like everyone benefits everybody.
But, like,
that's kind of a part of the idea of a social contract.
Universal basic income is, like, pretty much the same. It's not quite the same thing. You know, what I find hypocritical is that, like, when I support those policies, you know, universal healthcare, universal education, they call me a free stuff advocate. But then they advocate for universal basic income. And that's literally free money. The government is giving you free money.
I mean, it's not literally free. I mean, it's via taxpayers for the most part. But
it's like they're returning your tax dollars.
Yeah, I mean...
But, like, that's like the damn near closest thing to free stuff as you can get.
Yeah.
Not universal basic health care, because, like...
I mean, I'd rather...
Universal health care is still tax-paid. It's still tax-funded.
I mean, it should just be like Britain, like the National Health Service, just a straight-up national service instead of just like...
Yeah, and I think, honestly...
there's studies says, like, multiple studies...
The way that Scandinavia has it is better than Britain.
I mean, I don't know about healthcare specifically, because there's multiple studies that say that Britain's healthcare is the best in the world. Not every single one, but they're pretty, like, usually they're either, like, the best or, like, second best or, like, third best. And usually that's because there's, like, some very few margins of, like, oh, you know, maybe this year they had a few more people who couldn't get the most adequate of treatment, you know, for whatever reason, you know, some bullshit, bureaucracy, or, like, something. I mean,
but at the same time, if it's a priority-based system, like, oh, this person's gonna fucking die.
Basically,
if he doesn't get treated immediately, he's gonna get immediate treatment.
Sick, help. Sick, help. Sick, help.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts, bitch. Like, it shouldn't be about, like, it shouldn't go any farther than that. Like, I forgot, because Kyle, he makes that reference of, like, I forgot to what movie. I think it's, like, I think he says it's, like, as Denzel Washington doing it, but he's like, sick, help. Sick, help. And I'm just like, yeah, kind of. I forgot, exactly what movie that he's, referencing, because he mentions it every time he does it. He's just, like, going back to that reference to the movie with, you know, whatever he says. He's like, sick, help. Sick, help. You know, just does that shit.
I definitely a free stuff advocate. Everything comes with a price. Everything comes with a price. Even time. Sometimes you gotta pay time. You know, not money. I think time is just as much of a...
Well, no, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, time ain't necessarily... I mean, I don't even know if
That's
it's...
a valuable thing, though.
It is, but... I mean, I want to say it's a currency. We just use currency based off time for the most part, just because of, you know, how long it usually take to do something and whatever. But not always. But like, it is very valuable, especially for a lot of different people. They call us free stuff advocates, yet advocate for free stuff for Israel. There's that too. Universal food. I'm actually in favor of that too.
Universal food.
I mean, there should at least be like,
Well, not with our industrial factory farming.
Yeah, like,
factory.
I have to think about it, actually.
But if everything was organic and everything was actually
Oh, yeah.
healthy.
Israel's getting roughly 104K a second.
Oh my fucking
Fuck
God.
you, Israel. Stealing my fucking money.
Fuck the U.S. government for even allowing that.
But I need food. Yeah, I mean, there are, like... I think the very least that should happen is, like, a public option for, like, universal, like, food, at least. But when it comes to water, that should be universal, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I think, you
Without
know...
question.
Because I think, you know, like, there should obviously be, like, the basic essentials of food that, you know, that probably shouldn't even cost fucking anything. And then there's, you know, like, there's certain things, you know, that take a process and, you know, have money invested into it, like raising a cow, for example. So, I mean, there's certain things that I would say I would concede a little, but for, like, bare essentials, like, you know, canned food products and, like, you know, that are preservable and, like, non-perishables and things of that nature, you know, like, I would be really reluctant to, like, be like, yeah, let's put, like, a nice fat thing on here. Universal pet care. That should be added on to universal health care on the National Health Service. Yeah, like, because, like...
So you can get health care for your pet.
I know, and it's funny, like, in a lot of ways, we treat our pets better than us, and even we don't give our fucking pets health care. I don't even know how it is in the modern, like, in Europe and other places like that have universal health care. I don't know if they get the same thing. I don't know if they get, like, universal pet care with it. I'm sure some places do. I don't know how, like, here, I can probably see. Love how this is, like, my little fact checker now. Get out of here, Quark, with your terrifying, like, demeaning look.
When I was a little kid, I thought that was Satan.
Quark.
Yep.
So almost niggas get hit by a car, no one cares. Oh, wow.
The fuck? Somebody gets hit by a car and no one cares? What?
List of countries with universal health. Okay, I don't want health care. I want pet care.
Oh, Egypt has it. Because, I mean, Egypt was like the first. Or at least the
There's
civilization
literally,
that
there's
was in
nothing
Egypt.
anywhere that's showing universal pet care for any country. It just redirects me to universal health care.
That's just fucked.
Yeah, so we just not even like places like Britain and shit have it. Though we could look at the list of countries with universal healthcare just to rub it in the face of America. So I'll bring that list up. Because, just fuck our healthcare system.
It's immoral.
It shit really is. It's taking some time to load, so. Just give it a sec. Alright, here we go. Well, Africa. Let's check this out. Algeria, Botswana, Burkina Faso. Fucking Burkina Faso, dude. Egypt,
Wait.
Ghana.
African countries, have you ever
Yes.
healthcare?
Yes. Probably not like... here, let me just read some of these. Let me look at Algeria. Operates a public healthcare system. It's a universal healthcare system as well. So they have they nationalized it, so it's like Britain. A network of hospitals, clinics, and dispensaries provide treatment to the population with social security system funding health services. Although many people must still cover part of their costs due to the rates paid by the social security system and changed since 1987. Also, the poor are generally entitled to to health services free of charge, while the wealthy pay for treatment according to the sliding scale. So basically, if you're just poor as fuck, you're fine. It pretty much kind of goes on your net worth, essentially, from what it sounds like, in your income. Botswana operates a system of public health centers with 98% of facilities in the country run by the Gov. All citizens are entitled to be treated in public facilities free of charge, although a nominal fee of $6.60 US dollars, translated to Botswanian money, is typical charge for public services except for sexual and reproductive health services and trivial therapy services, which are free.
Like one of the most important things.
They are free.
Oh, okay. Good.
Burkina Faso provides universal healthcare to citizens through a system called Universal Health Insurance, administered by two bodies, one for civilians and the other for armed forces. Okay. Egypt operates a system of public hospitals and clinics through the Ministry of Health. Ghana operates a national health insurance scheme, that just sounds weird, to provide citizens with health insurance. The level of premiums citizens must pay varies according to their level of income. Most medical facilities are run directly by the Ministry of Health or Ghana Health Service. Mauritius, the government Mauritius operates a system of medical facilities that provide treatments to citizens free of charge. Morocco, Rwanda, I'm just going down the list. Seychelles, South Africa, Tunisia, those are all the countries in Africa. Here's the Americas. Argentina, the Bahamas, Brazil, Barbados, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Ecuador, Mexico, Panama, Peru, Trinidad and Tobago, Uruguay, Venezuela.
Did you say Honduras?
Honduras, yeah.
Oh, Honduras? Oh, damn.
No, Honduras actually isn't on there. It's Uruguay.
Oh.
So that's the Americas. I mean, of course, all of them vary, but here's Asia. Bangladesh, Bhutan, Bahrain, China, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Israel, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Macau, Malaysia, Mongolia, Oman, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Syria, Taiwan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. And all of them, of course, vary.
Technically part of Asia?
Well, Middle East is technically part of Asia.
Oh.
Europe. This list is going to be full as fuck. Which includes Austria, Belarus, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Malta, Moldova, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Romania, Russia, Serbia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, Ukraine, and UK. And that's Europe. Here's Oceania, going down the list. So pretty much,
definitely Australia.
So more than half the world has universal healthcare. Holy shit! England, the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital, a National Health Services hospital, and it's fucking huge. That's the view of that whole facility from the air. Holy fuck!
Wow.
I can guarantee you, every one of those buildings has some very specific special service enacted to it. And every municipality, like Scotland and Wales, has their own version of it as well. National Health Service Wales, National Health Service Scotland. So Oceania, Australia, New Zealand had universal healthcare, so I think it's just those two. So, yeah. Basically, most of the world that makes sense, most of the world that decided to make some sense, decided to, do that. Including African countries. I can now actually say for a fact that I could look at Algeria, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Egypt, Ghana, Mauritius, Morocco, Rwanda, Seychelles, South Africa, Tunisia. I could look at all those countries and say, yeah, Africa also has universal healthcare, so suck a dick. Like,
Most of them are third world countries too. That's fucking sad.
yeah, and sure, they probably don't get adequate healthcare, but at least they don't have to fucking pay for it. At least they don't go into medical bankruptcy for it.
I mean, then again, $7 might be a lot of money for somebody who lives in those countries.
Yeah, a lot of times you see homeless around here walking around naked in the summer because of the heat and humidity. I see some, not like straight up naked, but I've seen them pretty like that.
Scantily clad.
Africa is a toilet fire, and at least they have that. My point exactly. Like, for fuck's sake, like, Africa has so many problems. Like, even they, like, make more sense on certain shit than we do. Even if they get arrested, they have a bed and meal. They probably have an incentive to get arrested, if anything, because they have a bed and meal. Like, so, if anything, you know, some people probably might actively, you know, join a gang and just fuck up on a crime just so they can go to prison, low-level shit, and just have some food for a bit. Like, I would not doubt that. At least for Africa. Maybe even in the U.S., certain places might be a little have better policies with the prison system, so to them, they'd be like, hey, if I go back in here, at least I get a nice warm bed and, you know, some food every day. And I can hang out, and I can hang out with my amigo.
Haystack, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was talking about here.
I mean, yeah, you might get a meal and a bed in U.S. prison, but, like, you also get brutalized and raped.
Well, hey, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, you can at least, you know, to some extent, you get a bed and meal. Might not even necessarily be, like, a warm bed, but you get a bed. And, like, but, yeah, like, I would probably say the same thing for, like, places, like, certain places in Africa, too. Like, I'm sure they, you know, to some, like, they probably treat the prisoners a little better than we do. That's not probably saying much, and also
I think I remember hearing about a prison in
and
Asia
that's probably saying it's not the majority
forces
either.
People to do dance numbers, like they make.
Oh, I've seen that.
Do dancing.
Honestly, I don't really mind that.
Pretty hilarious.
I mean, I don't
like. Could you imagine going to that prison and you have to be forced to to dance Gangnam Style? Just fucking kill me. They'd probably put me on suicide watch though. Could you imagine? You're in your prison inmate uniform and you're forced to sing Gangnam Style, and if you don't, then they're gonna like rape you.
Well, like, honestly, I wish our prison system like did have like programs like that. Like, you know, like why the fuck not have some prisoners go on and do some dance numbers? Hell yeah. Just don't force them.
They should do environmental labor.
That's, well, I mean, yeah, like, you know, actual beneficial environmental work and
Put
stuff.
them in ships and like make sure they have shackles on.
Well,
you know, so they can't escape.
We're
like,
on
shock
ships.
collars.
We're like on.
Well, so
where are they going?
So they can go out into the ocean and clean up plastic out of the ocean, and also go and like you know dismantle most of the.
Why would they need shackles or like what?
So they don't escape.
Where would they go on that boat?
Yeah, okay, that's true though. Some of them might try to kill themselves though.
You pick them right back up from the ocean. Where, like, I mean, like, oh, look, hey, look, one of them is over there. Hey, get a raft boat over there.
They get eaten by a shark.
Well, what? Well, then they're fucking they're immersed fucking idiot for jumping out in the middle of ocean where they're gonna fucking die. Like, like if you're gonna like look out in the ocean and be like, I'm gonna make it. Like, are you like who does that? Like, who's gonna look?
That's again, they're probably trying to kill themselves.
I mean, the only time I can think of someone actually doing that, thinking they're gonna make it, is they start hallucinating because they've been out in the ocean for so long and they're dehydrated and they're, you know, literally dying from dehydration and shit. Like that does happen.
They can't drink the ocean water. Yeah,
Great Pacific, the Great Pacific Trash Gyre. Yeah, like that's, yeah, like I mean, and honestly, even if we do pick up all the stuff we can't pick up, that's not gonna like. There's microplastics and shit.
I mean, it still helps.
Like,
to a degree. There's
this video that I saw, and I can show you really quick, that literally shows, like, microlife with, like, microplastics in them. Like, I shit you not.
I mean, I'm sure it would still help. It would reduce the microplastic. That would be introduced into the ocean. You know, and they can also
Like, you know, they should have more prisoners do community service like that.
These
This
are
video, it's by Vox, but
those bright green specks inside their bodies are showing us what they're eating.
those specks are plastic.
Those are tiny pieces of plastic.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about pollution from single-use plastic.
And it's like, yeah, we can pick that shit out, but that's not gonna get all the microbes out, you know? Like, look at that shit. Like, there's no way we can, like, yeah, there's all of this, but on top of that, there's, like, 10 times
Where do you
more
think it's coming from?
us. I mean,
it's coming from those pieces of plastic that we're throwing away into the ocean.
yeah, but, I mean, the thing is, how are we gonna even get those microplastics out? There's no, like, I don't see any feasible way
There's
to...
only one way I can
Like, they're
think.
smaller than the
Wait,
fucking
wait, wait,
microbes.
There's only
The
one
micro
way-
life.
There's only one way I can think. There's only one way I can think of.
Drain the ocean.
No. Just let me.
Bit of wall.
Just let me get my point
Build
across.
a wall.
Just let me get my point across. Let me get my point across, please. So I've heard that scientists have actually been trying to artificially create an organism that would actually eat the plastic.
Yeah,
Actually
I mean,
subsist on the plastic. So then, when they're in that environment, they can clear it.
like, what if that, you know, the thing is about that, like, I mean, with putting artificial, or at least, like, genetic-modified creatures like that, is if it adapts, like, what if it starts eating other things that would be very hazardous if it did?
Fish.
Yeah.
I'd much rather.
I mean, there's,
plastic gone than.
Use a CRISPR, CRISPR. The diomes are already eating the plastic, not just digesting it. CRISPR. I'll look that up.
In a document, if we suspect we've misspelled a word, we can use the find function to highlight the error and correct it or delete it.
Oh, cool.
Within our DNA, that function is taken on by a system called CRISPR-Cas9.
Oh.
CRISPR is short for clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. CRISPR consists of two components, the Cas9 protein that can cut DNA and a guide RNA that can recognize the sequence of DNA to be edited. To use CRISPR-Cas9, scientists first identify the sequence of the human genome that's causing a health problem. Then, they create a specific guide RNA to recognize that particular stretch of A's, T's, G's, and C's in the DNA. The guide RNA is attached to the DNA cutting enzyme Cas9, and then this complex is introduced to the target cells. It locates the target letter sequence and cuts the DNA. At that point, scientists can then edit the existing genome by either modifying, deleting, or inserting new sequences. It effectively makes CRISPR-Cas9 a cut-and-paste tool for DNA editing. In the future, scientists hope to use
That's
CRISPR.
how they would
Just gene
create-
editing. It's just basic gene
Yeah,
editing.
it's gene editing, but like at the same time, that's how they can create artificial life.
It's the IRL equivalent of plasmids from Bioshock or Force Evolutionary Device from Fallout. Wow.
Yeah, so they can.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I really want to, you know, yeah, like, I mean, I don't want to, yeah, like, because that's why, you know, I, like, you know, how, you know, but once we get the how, it's just fucking execute that and push it as much as we can at that point.
yeah.
If you actually are going to try to fix anything, what, can do gene editing that was previously impossible, yeah. I mean, because it's, I mean, you know, think about, like, you know, just the whole mere fact of genes and shit. They're so finite, but yet, you know, so expansive, you know. It's like, it's very hard to, you know, like, straight up edit that shit. But now we got technology to do so. How's Robert? He's right here. I don't know. He's been doing fine.
Peace.
Yeah, there he goes. And then I'm just like, there he goes. Woo! Go flying away.
Yeah, you could do that, and you can get prisoners on ships to
clean up the plastic in the oceans, at least the macro plastic.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I
It would
mean,
be great though, because then the prisoners also have a reason. So instead of actually having them, be in prison for free and eat for free and sleep for free, they now actually have, if you don't work, we're not going to feed you. If you don't work, you're not going to be able to sleep.
well, that's not really. That's technically
how it should
torture.
be.
No, that's technically torture. You
'Cause then
can't
you
just.
don't actually have to do the death penalty. You could just backhandedly give them the death penalty if they refuse to work.
Well, then you're pretty much torturing a person by not giving them food. I mean, you're supposed to feed somebody.
Well,
Like
they want
if
to work, then they can eat.
I mean, that's pretty much like the whole, like conservative argument of like, oh well, they just need to pull by the bootstraps and just work and whatever.
No,
in order,
because there's a guaranteed, reward.
I mean, they're
for
meant.
working.
I mean, they're meant to be rehabilitated, not fucking punished. That's the whole point of that's how. I mean, you advocate for a whole Scandinavian system. That's what they do. They do it
that's
strictly for
hard
rehabilitation.
criminals, though. For hard criminals, there's usually no hope for them. If they're murderers, if they're pedophiles, I don't see any hope for them. They should be,
Not always.
they should be put through hard labor.
It depends how they were when they did it.
It depends.
That
how
sounds
they
maybe
did
today.
it.
Cool.
What?
Because if you're a teenager, you can get out in 25 years if you kill somebody.
I mean, even if you
Well,
did
yeah.
kill someone as a teenager, I mean, you were not developed and as an adult really yet, so you
I
don't
guess
you don't really understand the
depends on how
rationale
old they
of what you just did too
I
either.
guess that. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna grab some more bud really quick. Set both in that one. Be right back. You can argue with the chat about random shit.
But yeah, that's just an idea of mine.
Yeah.
Have prisoners every now and then do community service that helps the environment.
That'd be good, definitely. You watch this genius.
Put them out in ships in the ocean, clean up the plastic, or even go out in the parks and get rid of litter.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think there needs to be more surveillance in certain places so than littering. So you could actually catch people littering and then make them
Right.
pay their fines. Especially I think where people who actually dump all their trash in campsites, they should be put in prison. Like in some of the campsites, where they're not wilderness.
I mean, I thought of for the whole labor thing. I'm not really against that. I mean, I'm just you can't just punch someone for it because because to do rehabilitation, you want them to the whole idea of it is to try to get them back into society. So I mean, you want them to do, you want to try to get them into some, at least towards a career if they didn't already have one. So if they don't have one, then I think there should be labor programs.
Hey, you're a murderer. You did a good job killing that guy. We want to hire you as a personal assassin. No. No.
Just hyperbolic to be the hyperbolic version of it, yeah. But yeah, let's say someone's let's say somebody who did a robbery to get food or whatever and is in prison for 3 months and needs to be all right, well, we don't want you to do this again, so we want, and so what's your background or whatever. It's oh, well, I don't really have a career or nothing. It's oh, well, I mean, in order
job train you.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, yeah. So in order, so we're gonna help you try to get back in society. So we'll job train you and go for some counseling and work through trying to get
support.
Oh, this is yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I was just I just had it right there just to go back and forth.
Well, for most crimes that are not severe, I totally get that.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
I mean, when it comes to severe ones, it has to go by case because obviously there are certain murderers. Yeah, because obviously there's certain murderers who are just obviously who are really heinous.
That are unforgivable.
I mean, yeah, because there's obviously really heinous crimes and shit. I mean that obviously requires some punishment. But I mean, if just for that back, for example, on a murder or whatever, that. That's why we go on a case by when we go on a case by case, a teenager could have killed somebody, out of a fucking Xbox game or whatever or lost a game with their friends and then he beat the shit out of them to a coma and then killed them, didn't mean to.
Inadvertently.
Yeah, and then they get charged for murder or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't think that person legitimately wanted to kill the person, but went in rage mode and was an unintended consequence. Yeah, so I mean. eventually at some point, like I would say that given if they have shown progress and a change of, their mindset essentially, and like a change of heart of like how they feel and whatever, and actually rehabilitated, then, I think it would probably be safe to say that, yeah, they, can be put back into society. But obviously there's like, heinous motherfuckers like, like a Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, that even with his like, there's been interviews of the guy and stuff, out there. So, it's always really interesting, listening to them, at least for me. So, like, despite, like, his really interesting just personality and character and, seeming, at least on the surface, really, like, generally, like, calm and, like, well-rounded, but obviously isn't. Like, like, that guy, even with that, I don't think there's going to be rehabilitation. There isn't an actual trust that he's going to go, out and not do that again. So, yeah. Like, in Charles Manson's another one, for example. Like,
Yeah, that guy is just a complete lost cause, though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's true. Because he's been dead for like a year now or so. Night, about 4 a.m. Alrighty. I'm Stefan on this one. Oh, on the whole, like, rehabilitation thing? Or on, like, with, like, life in prison and stuff like that?
I would support it as long as they're, like, the crimes aren't so heinous that they're unforgivable.
Yeah, because, I feel like, there's certain cases where I think, even solitary is probably better because they will probably be too violent or, too aggressive even with inmates. There's people like that, so, it's always a case by case. Like, like there's certain people that, even like murder someone even by accident, manslaughter, but they still go to prison for it. But that's pretty much like a soft way of saying that, you're a murderer. Basically. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's just like, well, you didn't really mean to, and everything shows that you legitimately didn't mean to, so you still killed someone, though, so yeah. It's just like, yeah. 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 I think all three of us have generally the same idea for the whole prison system in general. Maybe some slight differentiations, but at least three of us, like you, me, and Stefan. Stefan tells an outlier on this issue. You're an outlier on this issue.
Well, except I do support rehabilitation.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
For the most part.
Yeah, I know, I'm just messing
like,
with you. I'm just messing with you.
For pedophiles, just put them to death.
I'm just...
just put the pedophiles to death.
All three? You, me, Stefan, yes.
And I think for, like, murderers where you don't really know if they can rehabilitate into society, have them do community service under, like, close supervision. Like in a maximum security kind of setting. Like, mostly environmental work, though, because that needs to be done.
That needs to be the previous priority at this point,
Like, maybe have some shock collars, shackles, and have them pull Ivy.
What's with you with shock collars? Damn.
Well, so they don't escape.
The shackles are there for that.
The overkill only further...
Like, you can have the shackles have, like, a tracking GPS. Like, so even if they do escape, you can find them.
Like, people on probation have that.
Yeah, exactly. So even if they run away, you're like, let me get the GPS. Alright, they're going this way.
But the weight of the shackles is only going to slow them down further.
Exactly. So, they won't be able to escape, really.
Yeah.
You don't need the shock collar. They already got it.
You have three
you can track them down.
Things that stop them from doing it. Which makes it, completely impossible.
You already do.
That way the guards don't ever get paranoid. They know for sure, there's no way you can escape.
Well, if you're tracking them all on...
He's got a GPS and then also a shock collar, so if he gets past a certain point, he's going to get shocked.
Then there's no point of the other two, because even if they run off, then it's like, they're just going to get shocked.
Contingent.
So, it's just like...
It's in case
it's either
the other
just...
one malfunctions.
Well, there's probably... I don't know why they would have that, you know,
I mean,
out.
the shackle would
If they malfunction, I'm sure they got like spares they will need that you can replace with. I mean, I don't think they're given. How does shackles malfunction? They're like just chains up against your legs and shit. Like, how do those malfunction?
It depends on what kind of metal it's made out of.
It's just regular steel.
It better
just
be
regular
some high
old
carbon quality steel.
or
I guess it really depends on the prison's funding. But if it's a maximum security prison, it better be top fucking notch. Because if you're putting murderers in there, like not even like, you know, somebody who just killed one person inadvertently and was still charged for murder, but like somebody who like was a serial killer and went on a, you know, full rampage, killed men, women, and children, and was like proven and, you know, tried and convicted beyond a shadow of a doubt that he did it. I don't think that guy should be
I mean, if there's no promise of rehabilitation, then I mean,
rehabilitated or even reintroduced to society.
I mean, there should at least be attempts made. But I mean, if there's genuinely no possibility, then I mean that's.
And especially if that guy is a pedophile.
I mean, there's like you pedophiles, oh my god. But like I mean, there's definitely like there's just like one fucking lady that like was just outright like abused her child and literally like was schizophrenic and also like thought her child was like demonic or something, and she was like only put in prison for like 5 years, and then
they should have put her in a psychiatric ward.
I mean they should have. Yeah, honestly, that she should have just been in a, you know, institutionalized home where she could be properly taken care of. You know, at that point, you know, that's. I mean, it's just like, oh my god, but like it was just like severe shit from like the article. It was just like, I mean, there was just straight up literal like torture crimes, you know, at that point. Oh like God. The kid was like put in like a tiny little fucking closet, like not even barely this wide, like chained up in there with like for days on end without food or even for the bathroom breaks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it, like even with her fucking, you know, mental illnesses and shit, even like I am like, yeah, just the crime itself is just like, even, you know, someone with an illness is a little like they need at least some prison time for that, while still being treated for their illness. But I mean, yeah, but it's just like shit. It's like, what the fuck. But it's just like, oh boy.
But I could definitely see, like, for the majority of criminals though, who are just, you know, like, you know.
I mean, our current, I mean, our whole justice system is like
definitely rehabilitate those people, because, like, especially.
I mean, right now, like,
that is out of desperation.
Yeah,
because
like
they can't find any other way to make any money.
Yeah, like, I mean, right now, like, our whole criminal justice system is really just unjust and corrupt anyway. So it, you know,
it's more focused on brutal punishment than
like before.
Actual.
Yeah, and before, yeah, so you know, before we can even like focus on like these little specific little cases, like there needs to be some serious reforms in our system before like we, you know, try to like be like, oh, let's try to go for the details on the rehabilitation, because it's like we need to have a total rehaul to have it set that way, you know, to get it, you know, to direct us in that sense. But our current system is just polar opposite. Like, I mean, if I remember right, like I think I saw somewhere at one point, like our prison systems were like literally comparable to like gulags. They were not even the fact that, you know, we have more people in our prisons than Stalin had people in the height of gulags and shit.
Comparable to gulags.
I mean,
Oh my God,
some, not all of them, but you know, like, I mean, the word.
So
you know,
some U.S. prisons are actually comparable.
I mean, our like the private prisons especially, like, cause I mean, they like their incentive.
Private prisons should be fucking banned.
Yeah, I mean that's
Anybody
part of the
who,
reason.
Like, and people who run private prisons should be put in prison.
Seriously, yeah. I mean, it should be the other way around, because their incentive is like,
I mean,
we need more.
I would probably
we
want
need
them
more,
to be raped with
I
like
mean,
a giant, you know, rusted, nailed wooden dildo, but that would be cruel and unusual punishment. And we're not constitutionally allowed to do that, so, too bad.
Oh my God. Anyway, but like, what was I about to say? But like, yeah, like the whole incentive of like the private prison industry is basically like more prisoners, more profit.
Yeah.
So like our whole criminal justice system is incentivized on the whole private prison industry lobbying, you know, to corrupt it, you know, for its own interests, which is why it's whole horribly
the
fucked.
government can like pay for these prisoners to be
Yeah.
housed. And they mostly, arrest non-violent drug offenders that shouldn't even be there to begin with.
Yeah.
Probably because they're either selling or smoking pot.
Or, some other substance, which shouldn't even matter. Though,
Or prostitution, too.
yeah. There was this, we saw it last night when TJ did his Triggered episode, but there was this random place, I don't even know where, but, there was this community that had, a prostitution problem, and the article was basically, two prostitutes murdered within, weeks of each other. Community says prostitution problem is getting out of hand. It's wait, what? I think you got a murder problem. What are you talking about? It's just what are, these people have it totally backwards. I guess to their eyes, hey, someone in our community...
This murderer's helping us. Getting rid of the prostitutes. Thank you. You're
It's just so
God's
dumb.
Work.
It's just what are you doing?
It is fucking back ass.
It's what are you doing? What do y'all, what? Y'all got your priorities backwards. I'd be worried about someone off murdering, people, specifically prostitutes, let alone the prostitutes.
That's the kind of shit that Jack the Ripper did.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and that guy's just a very ambiguous dude too. Nothing's known about them.
Nobody knows
Anything.
I mean, there's even debate. There's even speculation that Jack the Ripper could have been female. We don't even know what the Ripper's gender was.
Yeah,
We just don't know.
it's just speculative. It could have been Jill the Ripper.
Jill the Ripper. Yeah. Jill the Ripper.
Oh my god. Yeah, but
I know that the song by Judas Priest called The Ripper is pretty awesome.
it is. I think they played it when we saw them at a concert.
Yeah,
Didn't they?
they did.
Yeah. Well, my cut's getting all better. It's just basically just callous nonsense.
What's that noise out there? That's weird.
That's what I was thinking.
It's the interdimensional DMT aliens.
Interdimensional DMT alien.
Yes. I have the documents to prove it right here. I have the documents.
I don't know. That's what I think the interdimensional DMT aliens sound like.
No, they would just use our
Sounds really weird and nasally.
the robotic text to speech. That's what it will sound like.
Of them writing the shittiest.
It'll be Siri
Reddit
and then the
posts.
male Siri, whatever the male version of Siri is. That's pretty much what it'll sound like. And it will sound blissful. It will be like if you ever thought the sound of your Siri or Alexa or whatever was annoying, it would be the most blissful sound you will ever hear, regardless of what you thought prior. It will be the most blissful thing you have ever had to succumb yourself to. It would be beautiful. Believe me, beautiful, tremendous. Tremendous. Let me just tell you. I ate a Viking. Hashtag Viking. You ate a Viking, so hashtag Viking. Oh shit, oh shit. I'm racist now. When did this ever become, this means, okay, A-okay or whatever.
I've heard, some Christian conspiracy theorists, they would interpret it as 666.
Because, what?
But at least it actually, resembles 3 6s.
A little bit, I guess.
How the fuck does this even mean anything that's remotely close to white supremacy?
I guess because this looks like it's a W.
It's so fucking dumb.
It really is. I don't
so
get that.
fucking retarded.
Like, I legitimately don't get that. Like, what the...
This
like,
means okay. Okay, that's all that means.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just like, okay. You know, I'm just like that. Sometimes. Not always, but... Or it'll be the
I've seen
meme...
black people use that sign because they
I've
know
s-
what the fuck it means. It means okay.
And also, there's the meme where you do it on your knee and then you get to punch them.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look here.
Ball gazer.
Yeah,
That's actually where I learned it from. I learned it from like a few
yeah, so it's
Latino
just like
kids.
there's like two main ways that you do this. It's either like you do it like somewhere, you know, like on you, and you're like, hey, look here, and then you get to punch them, or it's just like, okay, gotcha, got it, you know,
But
gotcha.
It's just so fucking
Like, it doesn't-
retarded.
Like, I really don't get that. I really don't. That doesn't make sense to me. It's just like, what? Because like a few people from like alt-right rallies or something used it, now it means what? Like, what? That just doesn't make, oh my god. It just is stupid. It really is just dumb. It just... Just why.
SJWs are fucking stupid. And even the mainstream media
Like-
is like, it's a white
Well-
supremacy symbol.
Well, it's because, like, you know, like, if you alt-rightists did it, or, you know, whatever, and they were trying to be like, yeah, because the W, white power, bruh, you know, like, they're doing it, like, for their own dumb little meme. And then, like, everybody, like, took it literally. It's like, oh my god. It's what happens when you buy into their fucking argument. It's what happens when you buy
And not only
into
that,
their
but, like,
premise.
The people who are like having a moral panic over these like fringe white supremacists that you know, like
Are-
at most, like the group is just like 50 of them.
And, you know...
You're giving them power.
And granted, yeah, they are a very vocal minority, but, like, you're
But,
just
like, the more-
enabling their vocality.
The more attention you give them, the more power they get. You want them to lose their power, don't pay attention to them. Don't even.
I mean, it's just don't buy into their argument and their premise of,
Not
like...
only that, but just don't. Fuck. Just. Fuck, why can't I get the word out? God damn it. Don't even.
Like, what's the meaning of the word you're trying to get at? Like, don't, like...
Like, don't even acknowledge them. Just don't acknowledge them. Don't. Yeah, just.
Let's just don't acknowledge them, yeah, I guess. There's nothing wrong
Well, I
with
don't know
having a
about even being
majority white society. White societies are generally the best place to live. Best countries in the world are all quite, save Japan, South Korea. I'm sure if, like, I went to Mongolia or something, it's just, like, it'd be pretty chill and nice to hang out at. I mean,
There's still going to be some dangerous places.
well, Mongolia is pretty hospitable in various areas, just naturally, so, I mean, that's kind of a given. I mean, Iceland, too, some places of that place is hospitable as fuck. Like, I mean, unless you're in certain places on that island, so, I mean, even there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't engage them, yeah. And if you do, actually, like, deconstruct, like, actually, like, debunk their shit. And actually, like, come at them with with actual arguments and shit. And then they'll just be like, libtard, you know, they just, because they don't really got anything. If you actually challenge them, high standards of living are almost all quite societies. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I find it fucked up that, like, private companies have the right to censor people. That shouldn't even be a thing.
I mean,
They
a lot of
had,
the.
like a public broadband telecom service.
I mean, just have it nationalized, yeah.
Yeah, like,
I mean-
then they wouldn't be allowed to do that. Say, like, if YouTube is then suddenly trying to censor people, they're just like, the big, big hand of the government comes down and goes, nope! If you continue to do this, we're gonna shut you the fuck down. We'll even have the fucking SWAT team come and, like, take batons and bats
Oh my God.
and destroy your goddamn servers. Like, we're gonna just destroy your servers.
Well,
And then put, like, all your guys in Silicon Valley to the wall and make them cry. Make them pee their pants.
what the fuck?
Like, just...
Good night. Alright. Deuce. Probably a good time to wrap it up anyway.
YouTube, that'd be fucking hilarious. On that note, that'd be hilarious.
Don't destroy the YouTube servers, please. I like them.
But I mean, let's say if YouTube were to, like, suddenly shut down. I mean, I know for a while people would get pissed. They're like, oh no, my YouTube account is gone. Like, eventually, people are just gonna move to another site.
Douche.
That's what happened with, like, MySpace. Because, like, MySpace had similar, policies.
I'd just rather have it happen naturally. It's like,
Well, it probably will.
well, yeah. I mean, it's guaranteed. It probably
It
will.
eventually will.
Like, I mean,
happen.
because
Like,
already people are
MySpace used to be a monopoly for that,
for a time.
for
Yeah.
a social network.
Yeah. I mean,
And
because
then, they
with
started
the
having shitty policies, they started censoring people, and then eventually that shut down because it became less and less relevant when Facebook came around.
yeah. So I
They
mean,
became the competition.
I mean, because people are already really sick of YouTube, and I mean, just Facebook and even Twitter in general. I mean,
the thing is, we don't really have anything, that has more content yet than YouTube. But that could change in a matter of years.
and doesn't have as much viewership. I mean, Vimeo's somewhat promising, and there's a few others out there that are somewhat promising as well.
Upload Star looks pretty good.
It does look promising, and it also has like the old YouTube look too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is promise out there, but it's just it's just which one is going to take the ship, and it might not even be ones that are out now. It might be something different.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But in the meantime, I have to
Shut
deal.
down, but for an unrelated reason.
Yeah,
VidMe just couldn't fund itself entirely.
because YouTube's got some monopoly on it. There's not enough for
For now.
other, at least for now, yeah, because there's not enough openness for anything to really prosper very well, at least right now. In the meantime, obviously things probably change in the given future, and you keep thinking in the given future and years, and so. Well, I'm getting the fuck out of here, so. Deuces.